Welcome to Out for the Count TV. Today we're joined by the IBF European lightweight champ Mark Chamberlain. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, all good. Thanks yourself.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. We know you've got the big fight coming up on the AJ versus Ngannou card. But if it's all right with you, before we go into that, I want to talk about the amazing year that you've had in 2023.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
Yeah, so you had three fights, three knockouts. Your confidence coming into this year must be through the roof.
Yeah, last year was a good year for me. I would like to have got one more in, but it didn't happen due to me buying a house and having to get it like renovated and it moved in as such. So I was due to have one in September as well, but I just couldn't do it because I just had too much going on, and I had to get my life sorted. So basically, got in the house and then had my fight in my last one was November. Yeah, got the win in the 10th round, I believe, halfway through the 10th round, something like that.
Yeah,
Tough
yeah,
fight that was, though. Tough fight.
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to touch on that in a little while. So yeah, what do you put down the success that you had last year? What do you put that down to?
Just training hard, staying dedicated, and putting the work in the gym. Really. My last performance probably wasn't my best performance. Obviously, everyone has their off nights. There's a few things in there that I done in the fight when I watch back that I shouldn't have done. The main thing was I got the win, but I made hard work of it. I believe I'm actually a lot better than that performance. But like I say, everyone has their times, and that night wasn't a great night for me, but we still got the win.
Yeah. Although you say you made hard work of it, I do still feel like it sort of brung a lot of eyes to you. You know, the attraction of the fight. You know, it turned into quite a war at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was a tough man. I don't think he'd ever been stopped. I think I was the first one to stop him and have him hurt. But I think he had something like 170 amateur fights, and he went to like the Olympic Games, or he won loads as an amateur as well. So I mean, he done a lot, if you know what I mean. So he brought the experience. Believe the two fights he had lost, um, they were very close, and one of them, I believe, he was given the decision, went to get out of the ring, and they changed it, which is pretty wrong. But yeah, no, he was a tough man. I take my hat off to him. I take my hat off to anyone that gets in there because I know myself being a fighter how hard this game is, and when you're in there on the night, you're in there on your own, and there's no one in there with you. So that's why you got to make sure you put the work in.
Yeah. He was definitely a credible opponent. Going into the fight, did you rate him highly going into the fight, or did he sort of show you more than you was expecting?
Uh, we knew he would be tough because he obviously never been stopped. He'd done a lot as an amateur, like I just said. He the not his last. I think it was either his last fight or the one before. He actually fought an old gym mate of mine, Damian Rensky. I think he put him down in the fifth round twice or twice in the fight, and he gave him a hard night. That was the one where they announced he'd won, and then they changed the decision around. So I mean, they're all tough at this level. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be able to just hit them with one shot and they roll over. They're in there and they're in there to stay. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong. You catch someone on the chin, right? They're going out, aren't they? But these
yeah.
men, they've got chins of granite. Honestly.
Yeah, it felt like the first half of the fight, you were sort of like trying to draw him onto you, and then the sort of the second half, you sort of stuck it on him a bit more. Was that like the plan going into the fight, or was it just how it panned out?
I mean, I think it's just how it planned out. If I remember rightly, he was southpaw as well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So I mean, obviously, I had good southpaw sparring and that, but I'd never. I don't know if I've boxed a southpaw as a pro or not. But obviously, him being at a higher level, he sort of knew and brought more to the table than I expected, if you know what I mean. But like I say, I made a few mistakes. I mean, I never really fight on the back foot, but for some reason, I was like, I had my back on the ropes like 90% of the fight. But why? Do you know what I mean? I watched it back and I just thought, like, why am I doing this? I was making hard work of it.
yeah. So
Um,
Do you prefer to fight on the front foot then, as opposed to being on the back foot?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been known as like a strong come forward fighter, but I can fight on the back foot. A lot of these fighters that just only know one way of fighting, that's coming forward. But there will be that day when they get put on the back foot. And the good thing with me is I can do a bit of it all, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Technically, I'm probably not the best boxer, but I believe I can give a shot and I can take a shot. So, I mean, the aim of the game is to hit and not get hit. But if I can get a stoppage or get the win, I don't care how ugly it is. The win's the main thing that's got to be put in the bag. So, if I can
yeah.
keep winning, I'm happy.
Yeah, watching that fight, I sort of thought you're quite a three-dimensional fighter in terms of you're quite good at, like you say, you're known for going on the front foot, but I felt like equally you didn't do bad on the back foot neither.
No, like I said, I got caught with a couple of silly shots. I mean, I got cut in the seventh round, I think, with a clash of heads. I actually remember it. It was at the end of a round, and then I went into the eighth round pretty much blinded with one eye because I just remember standing up. The bell went, and I had a lump of vas in my eye, and obviously I had my gloves on. And I've gone to wipe it, and the thumb of the glove like smeared my whole vision, so I had no eye. And
Yeah,
that round was probably my worst round because I got caught with so many silly shots, all because I couldn't see. Now, obviously, I overcome that in that fight, and it was a new experience that I hadn't experienced before. So I sort of know what to expect if a cut was to happen or come again, if you know what I mean. God forbid it
yeah,
does, because it
yeah,
made it a lot of hard work just having one eye.
yeah, yeah. And when you got the cut, did you initially realise that you were cut, and like what was going through your mind when the doctor was having a look at it?
I remember it just like pouring like down my face. Like no longer I got off the stool to go back out, it was like trickling down my face. And then when the doctor called me over, he was like, "Don't panic." He went, "We'll go to the scorecards if it's got to be stopped." And I thought, well, I don't really want the fight stopping on a cut. Do you know what I mean? I want to get the win. And then
Yeah,
me obviously I would have won the fight on the scorecards. No doubt I was up anyway, but I wanted to get the win the way I did. That was like the icing on the cake, if you know what I mean. I managed to do the 9.5 rounds and get the stoppage in the 10th. So yeah, that was good that it went like that sort of thing and didn't get stopped on the cut.
yeah. And often when a fighter gets a cut like that, it's something that they worry in the fights moving forward. Is that something that's in your mind, or do you just think if it happens again, it happens again?
No, I mean, just got to watch heads, isn't you? I mean, the ref makes a point of most fighters when they're in close, watch your heads, but it just happens. Like, it happened so quick. I just remember the initial bang and just it whooshing down my face. But you can't let that overtake the fight, if you know what I mean. You just got to ignore that it's there and crack on like I did, and I got through it. But yeah, I mean, you don't feel it at the time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to switch off
Well,
from.
yeah. You obviously showed the heart of a lion to get through the fight with one eye. Do you think you sent a message to the rest of the division from that performance?
Probably not on that performance, no. But me being who I am, if anything, it'll make fights easier to make because they'll think that they'll have one up on me on that performance, if you know what I mean. But I don't really care what people think, to be honest. I mean, I'm up there in the rankings. Big fights is what I wanted, and we're kicking off 2024 with a massive fight. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to get to the top, and you've got to take these risks to get through to the top, if you know what I mean. So I'll fight anyone they put in front of me. As simple as that.
Yeah, yeah. Well put, mate. And that brings us up to your upcoming bout against Gavin Gwynn on the AJ versus Ngannou card.
Yeah.
When did you find out you're going to be going to Saudi, and what was your reaction?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I'll probably never forget it, to be honest. I was out for. I managed to give up my work with the backing of like my sponsors, which is a massive help. I mean, Deltron Lifts, Staple Garage, Map Pro Tuning, just the list goes on. Basically, that I'm very fortunate to be able to drop my full-time job and have sponsors backing me. So I went out for it was like a works do sort of thing. I got invited to because I still speak to all the boys. You know what I mean? They went out for a curry, so I went out for a curry, and it was like 9:30. We was on the way home. I was only about 2 minutes from my home. And I was in the car with all the boys, and Warren's rung me, and I thought, oh, what does Warren want this time of night? They're like 3 or 4 hours ahead. And they're like, oh, I'll answer it. You can't not answer it. I said, I'll be home in a minute. So I had to answer the phone. I was in the car. And I was like, you all right, Frank? He went, yeah, I've got an opportunity here if you want it. I went, yeah, go for it. He went, I'll let His Excellency explain. He put me on the phone to is it Turki Alalshikh, I think his name is, isn't it? And he just said, Mark, I want to offer you an opportunity to fight out in Saudi on the 8th of March. Do you want it? I said, yeah, sign me up. Simple as that. And then a few days went by, and I thought, I want to chase Frank up on this because obviously it's a big opportunity. And he just said, yes, definitely on. We'll have confirmation over the next week of who you're going to be fighting. And then, it sort of went from there, really. I had Christmas, had a little holiday for New Year, and then I was training out on holiday because I knew I had this coming up in the background. And, camp's going great. And, it's a massive opportunity for me.
Yeah, and what do you make of His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, and how beneficial to the sport is it, with the Saudis' influence at the minute?
Yeah, it's great. He's doing a lot for boxing. And to even be out there mentioning my name, because apparently he mentioned my name to Frank. He said, I like Mark Chamberlain. And Frank was like, well, I manage him and promote him. Like, we can get it on, as simple as that. And I'm thankful that they're actually talking about me. So I'm doing something right. But yeah, I mean, he's doing a lot for boxing. He's making big fights happen that other promoters haven't made happen. And he's made a card. With the cards he's been making, obviously money talks, doesn't it? And the big fights he's putting on all in the same night it's unbelievable. So yeah, you got to respect him. He's changing the game, isn't he?
100%. I mean, the Fury and Ngannou card was just, it was unheard of. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think they had what was it? They had like Saudi's Got Talent, didn't they? Before that fight, the ring walks and all the music and the songs they had went on for about nearly an hour, didn't it? I think before the fight happened.
Yeah.
But no, they're not cutting corners on anything out there, are they?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And you're obviously in camp as we speak. How's it going? And who have you been sparring to prepare for Gavin Gwynn?
Do you know what? Camp's going great. I've been getting the rounds in 2 or 3 times a week. I've been sparring like 10, 12 round spars. I've been sparring a lot of sparring partners that are pretty much like Gavin, just relentless, tall, come forward fighters. Be honest with you, it'd be nice for me to fight someone my own size, if not an inch taller, because I always seem to fight the smaller ones, and it'd be nice to get in there and actually have a go with someone my own size. But yeah, I mean, sparring's going great. Traveling around, people are coming to us, and everything's going to plan. I know every fighter you probably ask says the same, but honestly, everything's going really well.
Brilliant, mate. And are you a fighter that likes to keep in shape all year round, or do you just like to tick over and then have like an intensive camp on the run up to a fight?
No, I stay fit all year round, especially now. Obviously, when I was working, I was having to get up, do my runs, go do a day's work, and then go training. But now I just stays fit all the time. I have my fight. I like to go on holiday and just chill out for a week, and then back in the gym. Just waiting for the next one. Really, just got to stay active.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And have you and Gavin ever crossed paths before? And what do you make of him as a boxer?
No, I've never met him personally. I mean, he's a great fighter. He was obviously British, Commonwealth, European champion. He ain't no mug to hold them titles. We know he's a tough man. And we're preparing for the best Gavin Gwynn. And we know it won't be an easy night, but I truly believe that with my ability and the way we've been training for this fight, that there's no reason why we can't come away with the win and do it in good style.
Yeah. And you mentioned like this level in the sport. You know, to get to this level, yeah, you know, sacrifices have to be made. What kind of sacrifices have you had to make in your personal life in order to get where you are today?
Be honest with you, just constantly gritting down and training hard. Obviously dieting, training hard, putting the travel in for the sparring, just everything like that. Really, I mean, you miss out on family time, like if there's birthday meals or celebrations, things like that. Like you can't. You can go, don't get me wrong, but you can't go out and have the fancy meals that you want. But you got to sacrifice these things and put your heart and soul into boxing. You're either in or you're out. You can't be 95%. You got to be 100% because it's
Yeah,
not a sport where you can cut corners because of how dangerous it is.
yeah, and I think they're the differences that sort of like separate, you know, the world level to the, you know, area level. Really, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And this is obviously the biggest moment of your career so far. How does it feel to know that, you know, thousands, if not millions of people around the world are going to be watching your fight? And how determined are you to put on a great performance?
Yeah, I know. I know I've got to put in the best performance I've ever done because, like you say, there's going to be millions watching. The world will be watching this massive card, um, and for me to push on with my career, I feel like I need to do a good job on Gavin and to push on to bigger and better things. But I'm not looking past the 8th of March because we know we're going to have it all to do. And like I say, we've prepared for, well, I don't know how many rounds we're doing at the minute. It's either 10 or 12. It's got to be confirmed. But like I say, I'm prepared for a 12-round war. So just got to get the job done and start.
Yeah. And will it be your first 12 rounder if it is?
If it is 12 round, yeah, it'd be my first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. But yeah, I mean, best of luck going into that fight. I could talk about that fight, you know, till the cows come home. But
Yeah.
while I've got you, if it's okay, just, you
Yeah.
know, get your opinion on the latest goings on in the sport.
The what? Sorry.
The latest goings on in the sport.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
go for it. Yeah,
yeah,
go
yeah.
for it.
So recently, Tyson Fury and Usyk have had to reschedule their fight due to Fury getting a cut.
Yeah.
Um, there's been loads of rumours flying about. But what do you think of the response from fans towards Fury?
Me as a fighter, anyone that's saying he's done it on purpose is an absolute crank. Like it happens. Like it's
Yeah,
sparring, anyone can get cut. God forbid it don't happen, but I could spar again on Friday and get a cut. Do you know what I mean? It's just what happens in the sport, and for it to happen 2 weeks out is just bad luck. But now anyone who says he's ducking and he don't want the fight, I mean, the man's earning more than a lot of people will ever dream of earning. So why would he purposely get cut? Do you know what I mean? It's pathetic. Anyone that says that, but yeah, I'm sure
yeah.
they'll get it on for the 18th of May, and yeah, may the best man win.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, mate. I mean, I'd get knocked out, picked back up, and knocked back out for that kind of money. So, you know,
Yeah,
no, who's going to cut themselves on purpose?
yeah. People saying that he cut himself on purpose are just idiots, and half of them have never put a pair of gloves on in their life. So
Exactly.
let them
Yeah,
entitled to their opinions, isn't it?
yeah. And who do you think wins when the fight eventually does happen?
I truly believe a good big un beats a good little un. So I'm going Fury on this one.
Brilliant, brilliant. And also, you know, we've got AJ going up against Ngannou as the main event in Saudi on the card that you're fighting on. How do you think AJ will do against, you know, the man that did so well against arguably one of the best heavyweights in the world right now?
I actually think Joshua might not knock him out, but I think he might hurt him and stop him. I just
Yeah,
got the feeling. Um, but whatever happens, he's a tough man, isn't he? I don't think Fury put a dent in him. He just kept coming and coming, didn't he? But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting one, that's for sure.
definitely. I mean, AJ is going into this fight off, you know, he must have a lot of confidence coming off his last bout. But I think Ngannou shocked the world with his performance against Fury.
Definitely. Well, yeah, considering it was his boxing debut, to stick in there with the new world heavyweight champion
Yeah,
and make him look the way he did. I know, like I said at the start, everyone has an off night, and obviously he must have had an off night, but he didn't look out of his depth in there with him, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, it was going to be a brilliant night of boxing, whatever the outcome.
Yeah, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
well, brilliant. So it's been brilliant talking to you, Mark. Good luck for your fight, and hopefully we can catch you after the fight.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you getting the interview in.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.